what you can find on that set newspaper of Marie Claire Nana. Still in the same paper, this one says fighting illicit drugs. African forms common ground. Get to read that story on page 16 to 17 on the National Bilingual Daily Cameroun Tribune. See in the same paper, the paper says obituary Sultan Foumban disappears. Get to read that story on page 5 on the National Bilingual Daily Cameroun Tribune. Remaining Yaoundé this time around, the English Daily, the Guardian Post. The Guardian Post of Christian Guy Christian says sunsets are done in Foumban. That is what you can find on the front page of this newspaper on page 6 to page 7 on the private Bilingual Daily. We move over to Pascal Bissoke, who wins and retains the CPDM Canada subsection presidency over there in North America. We'll move over to the International Institute for Certified Forensic Investigators. This one says Barrister Ndangu Ta Calvin appointed national chairman of that commission. Let's take you to the green city of Kumba, where it's a dark day over there in the southwest region, where former government delegate and pioneer city mayor of the Kumba City Council in the person of Victor Kelengo is no more. They say he was found dead. We'll move over to Le Point Hebdo. Le Point Hebdo too talks about a sad day for the Foumban people over there in the Noon division of the West region as their Sultan Ibrahim Bombonjoya disappears. We'll take you to the CPDM political party. It says CPDM political party is now a tussle for supremacy. Get to read that story on that set paper. Meanwhile, this other one from the evaluation of security to the Northwest region, that is the Minister Delegate in charge of Defense, Joseph Betty Asomo, gives the appraisal about the situation in the Northwest region. Mutation 2 for this morning is paying tribute to the late Sultan of the Bamum people. It says Bobo Joya, the king that is immortal. That is what Mutation newspaper tells us for this day. Still the same paper, this one talks about computers that were stolen over there in the University of Yaoundé 1 in the Guayaquil campus, and went further to say auditors will be opening investigation from the special criminal court from Yaoundé regarding the missing computers over there in the University of Yaoundé 1. We'll take you to Libre, Forum Libre. Forum Libre says the Republican king joins his ancestors. That is what the newspaper tells us about Ibrahim Bombonjoya, the king of the Bamum people. That is what you can find as the exclusive coverage of Forum Libre newspaper for this morning. Meanwhile, Tribune d'Afrique to pay special tribute to the late Sultan of the Bamum people. That is the only story you can find on Tribune d'Afrique newspaper, as they gives an in-depth analysis about his rise to prominence and birth and death. So get to read that more on the late Sultan of the Bamum on Tribune Afrique. Why Meteo for this morning? La Meteo newspaper for this morning says the CPDM subsection of the North of the Ndé North constituency, Celestin Kecha Cortez beats Nyats. That is what you can find on the reorganization of basic organs of the CPDM on La Meteo newspaper. Still the same paper, the paper says the king of the Babum lives forever. That is what you can find on La Meteo newspaper. We'll delve into the Herald Tribune for today. The Herald Tribune says Black Monday, Sultan of the Bamum, Kumba former city mayor and government delegate to the Kumba City Council, and the Lamido of Sabga quits the stage. That is what you can find on the Herald Tribune newspaper for this morning. Meanwhile, this other one regarding the armed conflict in the restive Northwest and Southwest region, it says 3,000 persons to go jobless as the Cameroun estate plans to shut down operations of 2 major plantations in the Northwest and Southwest regions. I will take you to this one that comes back to the conscientizing the customer security. It says Camtel Blue Commercial brand sends sensitization teams to the various regions. We'll take you to the COVID-19 situation in the Northwest region, where they say the Northwest region has registered some 631 new cases of infection and some recorded deaths over there in the Northwest region. Let's we'll end with this one from CRTV's late Quintabies Kelly, who they say will be late to rest this weekend in her native Northwest region. We'll move over to Yaoundé to meet Lojo of Haman Mana. Lojo of Haman Mana for this day says Ibrahim Bombonjoya 1937 to 2021, and went further to say the 4 is there. That is what you can find on that set newspaper, Lojo of Haman Mana. That is what Haman Mana have as exclusive coverage on his newspaper for this day. We'll take you to Douala to meet the private bilingual daily, that is quotidian emergence. Quotidian emergence for this morning says obituary Ibrahim Bombon Joya 1937 to 2021, and it went further to say the Sultan lives forever. Get to read that story on that set paper. Let's take you to Yaoundé, where a student and four others were arrested regarding the suspected use of drugs that they were engaged in. We'll take you to this one that talks about the developmental process and the reconstruction of the northwest and southwest region. It says the army gives an explicit report on that. Get to read that story on that set paper. Meanwhile, the transport sector says they are opening new spare when it comes to the curbing and curtailing of multiplicity of road accidents on Cameroonian roads. We move over to the French daily, that's Le Messager of late Pius Njabe. Le Messager too says Ibrahim Bombon Joya, long live the king. That is what they have as banner headline for this day. Still the same paper, this paper says Ngonun Jumisi gives more insight regarding the Director General. We'll take you to the CPDM subsection of the Sanaga Maritime in the littoral region. It says the trouble game that is being played by elite of that set region. That is regarding the reorganization of basic organs of the party of Paul Biya. We'll move over to the Star of late Chief Kmer Paul. The Star for this morning says Black Monday in the Bamoun Kingdom. Sultan Ibrahim Bombon Joya disappears. That is what the newspaper of late Chief Kmer Paul tells us. Still in the same paper, this was a war against separatists. Defense Minister warned government critics, announced change of approach. Get to read that story on page 6. Meanwhile, this one says follow up to the Major National Dialogue resolution. PM John Guti present palpable balance sheets or regarding the stakeholders and others who were this concretized action on the ground of the Major National Dialogue. We'll move over to this other one that says mile 4 Limbe Chieftaincy Palava Chief Noawaye in the People's Court. Get to read that story about the mile 4 Chieftaincy Palava in Bonadikombo of Limbe. We'll move over to Legidyon in Yaoundé. Legidyon for this morning says First United Nation address Biden sideline Anglophone crisis, promotes homosexuality in Cameroun. That is what Legidyon tells us for this day. Still the same Legidyon, this one comes back to some 120 Cameroonians who were found trying to get the illegal employment. We'll move over to this other one from the set paper that says at last government concedes regarding the escalation of the Anglophone conflict. Get to read that story on that set paper. Meanwhile, China overtakes France as Cameroon's top supplier. Get to read that story on how the Chinese have overtaken the French in the country. We'll take you to Limbe to meet Eden. Eden for this morning of Chief Zach says intricacies. It says insurgencies still rocked Anglophone crisis boats. Get to read that story of Chief Zach for this morning. Meanwhile, this one says death snatches 2 top CPDM barons in one day. Get to read that story on the set paper. We'll take you to the special status that Dr. Simon Monzo says special status on no special status. That is what the renowned Cameroonian diplomat tells the newspaper of Chief Zach, the Eden, on page 6 to page 7. We'll move over from the people of Nguti. This one says Okia Fong brings hope to the Nguti population. Get to read that story on that set paper. Meanwhile, the newspaper of Stephen Ojong, the Median, for this morning comes back to the CPDM renewal in the southwest region. It says new faces emerge in Tombed, Siko, Moyoka, Akwaya, and Manfi. Get to read that story on that set paper. This other one says looking beyond the differences, Agbo Ballad decries hate speech, divisive rhetoric, putting the northwest and southwest people against each other. We'll take you to the reconstruction of the head of state. It says PM John Gute ends warring offensive in the north southwest region. Let's move over to the advocate of Tabetayan for this day. Tabetayan on his newspaper Advocate says that the southwest northwest divide leak later big fat lie. That is what Advocate tells us for this day. Still the same Advocate, the paper says Cameroonian feminists discourse on generation equality, engagement engagement in chat mission. Get that story on page 8. Meanwhile, this other one from the said paper that says, after Boya, the Cameroun Association of Media Professionals known as CAM takes peace talk and gives to the Bamenda at Damawa Central Prison. So let's move over to this other story that says Nasla boss demystify the conundrum of the special status accorded to the Northwest and Southwest region. The post of late Francis Wache tells us measure national dialogue after showcasing moves Bias saddens PM with preaching on popular special status. That is what the newspaper of late Francis Wache tells us. The Post. Still the same, the Post newspaper, this one from the Foumban, it says, saw indigenous condemn Germany for continually keeping the stolen artifacts that were looted during the colonial era of the Foumban. Will take you to this other story that says 5 ministries have been blacklisted for refusing to collaborate with the anti-corruption commission of Diodene Masigam known as CONAC. Get to read that story on page 2. Let's wrap up with this one that says CPT and Mayor cries foul against reorganization malpractices that were orchestrated in their municipality. Televiewers, that was the last newspaper on the newsstand. We'll be back after the break to meet our panelists who are with us in the studio. Just to reiterate, all of them are all journalists. So just take blue to your TV set as we'll be back after this. Hi televiewers, you guys are all welcome back to the program Press Brief. Joining us in the studio, we have 2 gentlemen. I'll start with the most senior person in the building. That's the veteran journalist and the person of Prince Orok. Good morning to you, Prince, and you are welcome to the studios. Yeah, good morning all, and it's a pleasure being on the platform. Okay, so seated beside Prince is another gentleman from another media outlet in the person of Jospins Katie. Good morning to you, Jospins, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Larry, and thank you very much for having me as always.
Okay, so let's start with the second part of the program with the info. The info newspaper for this morning says 5 police officers standing trial for torturing a suspect. What is your take? I'll start with the most elder person in the building. I'm talking about you, Prince.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a measure from the appropriate quarters, to redress the malpractices that must have been plaguing the core, and I think that is to make those responsible, to ensure security of persons, ensure the protection of property and all the aspects to really sit up and do their job effectively well. When we look at this, we really have to be very, very conscious that people should start working on merit and know exactly that if you are given something to do, you must do it effectively, you must do it well, and you must do according to the norms. You see, I believe that meritocracy should be the order of the day, and that kind of poor action should be relegated.
Okay, I have this disturbing phenomenon. It's fast becoming a new normalcy in the country where you see police officers, uniform officers, they are actually pouring out their frustration on a suspect with machetes, and at times they went as further as taking the guns to even be hitting the guns on those persons. So what is really happening in our military or in our police sectors? Does it mean these sectors needs a revamp or re-education of the various trainees or whatsoever that are in charge? They need to have a they need to re-stratify.
Larry, professionalism is not everybody can know, how to apply the principles that are involved. You could have people trained in a particular corps or in a particular level of career, but not everybody will execute as expected. What we are trying to say here is that, the powers that be, and I'm sure that the boss of that particular level, understanding that it is imperative, it is really necessary to redress some of the issues or to address some of the issues that have been plaguing that particular area. And I think that the steps that are taken and will be taken will ensure a bit of discipline, to enable others sit up and do their job as, as per training, what they have had and what they went through.
Okay, and Jospins, I come back to you. What do you make of the police officers, the military officers, the gendarmerie officers meting ill treatment to purported suspect, in quotes, alleged suspect? They are just suspecting someone of doing something wrong, and they go as far as meting this inhuman treatment on these persons. And they have the tenacity, they have the nerve to record it with their mobile phones and sharing it on social media. Is it not stupidity or what?
Of course, Larry, that's the highest level of stupidity. And I'll tell you firstly that they have this timidity, they have this right, or they have this how can I put it, this guts to do this, because they know that we are in a lawless country. That's the truth. Because they know that they are going to get away with whatever thing they do, since they believe or they presume that they have the autonomy of power. And Larry, it may shock you to know that these guys, these police or gendarmerie officers, little or nothing will be done.
No, but according to the
Larry, that is all show.
According to Martin,
that is show, Larry. That is show. I'll tell you. I can tell you with all facts that they just want to satisfy the minds of the people that they are going to maybe punish them. Okay. Now, why do you do it in secret if they are doing it in the open? Why do you have to punish them
according to certain laws? They say the punishment and that have been meted on uniformed guys shouldn't be made publicized.
Good, but they have also gone across the line.
Okay.
They have also gone out of the line. So they say some measures need some precautions as well. Okay. So if you, because they know that they if they go behind, since nobody can actually see the level of punishment given to them, then they can do whatever thing that they wish to do.
Okay.
I'm saying that they should bring them to the public. I'm not saying that
like what's happened with the Derek Chauvin case in the United States of America.
I'm not saying that they should give them to the public to handle. No, they should give them the punishment in the public. Or even if they don't bring them to the public, at least let the media personnel be present.
Okay.
Let us go there with our cameras. Let us go there with our instruments and get what type of punishments that is being meted out to them. Because if this is not done, I bet you, Larry, this will keep on going. It's not the first time.
Well, of course not.
And it's okay. That the first time it happened, they said they are going to punish it. It shows that little or nothing
just
is
like
being done.
Just like those soldiers who shot and killed the women over there and children and babies over there in the far north region. But right now we haven't seen the trial or the punishment. Anything. But we have of court martials that have been ongoing in the process. But we haven't.
That is why I'm saying that Cameroon, when it comes to the military, they pardon them. They keep them behind.
Right.
But when it comes to others, especially the civil man out there,
quite contrast. I'll put the situation of Kumba, the killing of the students or the pupils of Mother Francisca International Bilingual Academy, Fiango Kumba, where they have to pass life sentence or death sentence. I beg your pardon, on 4 suspected accused. So
why did this happen? Because they are not of the military coup. Hadn't been they were military, do you think that they would have given them such corporal punishment?
Okay, back to you.
What I wanted to add to what
Prince,
okay, saying, it's just that I am looking at it from the aspect of provision.
Okay.
Perhaps it should come to the stage where not only at the level of the civil society, where employment may be taken into what we call provision, where a period of trial is given for you to really prove your worth. Perhaps it should equally be extended to the principal corps, as the areas which are concerned with security, where prior to their proper engagement, immediately they are on training and they come out, they should perhaps be put on probation.
Okay.
And those on probation should prove that they can work and look into the probation. It could be 3 months, it could be extended to 6 months.
Of course, because we have other private businesses before you start working. They put you on probation to show your worth.
That's it.
Okay.
So I think that if that is done, perhaps it is going to make those responsible into engaging them permanently to
Yes.
identify the elements that could serve the nation.
All right.
And that could come out and work very, very well.
And Larry, just to add, this, from what my co-panelists just said, it's a clear example of no experience.
Okay.
Because if we look at the guys that were doing this, they
five
are
of them,
very young soldiers, very young
police officers,
which shows that they have little or no experience as far as the
But how
profession.
do they manage to pass the competitive entrance exam? That's the question
Passing,
we should be asking as Cameroonians.
Larry, you and I, we know what is happening in this country. We should not talk like blind or
So,
fools.
anyways,
so we are saying that corporal punishment should be given to them in the open,
all right,
not in the secret.
So I hope Martin Baranga Gilewu doubles as the boss of the police of force in Cameroon gets to do that. So let's move over to Yaoundé to meet the National Bilingual Daily Cameroon Tribune newspaper for this morning. Talks about the reorganization of basic organs of the CPDM, and we went further to say it's a do or die affair. We have had situation, we have had circumstances of this process where militants of the CPDM had to ransack the office. Others went as far as setting ablaze the office and the residents of the TO. Others went as far as blocking the road that no vehicle should pass. They are angry. Mago, or in quotes, corruption is finding her way in the reorganization of basic organs of the CPDM that was enshrined by the national chairman, President Paul Biya. What is happening with the CPDM?
No one can say you are the author of change. Change is natural,
Of course.
and it comes with time. And when you look at change, we have the new breed of young people who are invading the political arena. And by invading the political arena, they see a lot of lapses coming from those who are aged and those who are there for long. And so they need. I mean, it takes them to the dimension where they look forward to, taking over. Okay. Taking over means that they want to now replace those ideologies that have been of the past.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what is happening in the political arena, where some people have used, and continue to remain where they are, in spite of age, in spite of what they can no longer render.
Of course,
that could be serviceable to the younger population. Now you find them remaining there, and once they are there, it becomes a little bit difficult, and that is why you have the wranglings. The wranglings are there because you have the new breed of young people who want to make sure that they bring in progressive ideas. So you only get a progressive wing of some political parties now composed of people with modern ideas, people with ideas that are looking forward to change, ideas that really want a change of system, a change of what things should be. Then you will not have them tie up with those who are remaining so stagnant in their reasoning, and so there must be change.
Okay, and you spend what's your take on the CPDM wrangling and firefighting works that is being orchestrated by certain militants of that said party?
Well, I think it's a good one to applaud, and just to tell you that change is the only constant thing, but change does not come in a day. Just as we have these young breeds coming up, they still have much fighting to do, because the greater majority who are still there are still of the old folks. So to change their ideologies,
tired,
to change their, of course, we're tired but not tired. So to change their mindset, it's really going to take a process. But nonetheless, they should keep fighting. Of course, they say winners don't quit, and quitters definitely don't win. So there is a time, there's a wind of change, and it's already blowing. So these old folks, they're already going out of the line. So the young breeds that are coming, they should not be corrupt. Yes, because we know what is happening. You can go in there, because we are easy to condemn, and because you're not there, when you go there and you start seeing
worse than them,
so we are only praying that they should keep track. They should keep track the line and do not let the old folks initiate the corrupt nature in them.
I hold a view that the old must be replaced.
Of course.
And that not all age is wisdom.
For sure.
Yes. Though we have of course, the adage.
At times it's dullness. At times it's dullness.
Of course.
And so it must come with, the ideologies changing. It must come with practical steps, and it must also come with you, the old, those who are to be replaced, accepting to teach the young people what should be the necessary steps to enable them to take over when you are not there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move over to the private English daily. That's the Guardian Post of Christian Gar. The Guardian Post for this day says sunset at the Foumban kingdom. That is what the newspaper have for us. It does on the demise of the late Sultan Ibrahim Bomonjoya, who died in an American hospital in Paris. What's the take on the demise of the senator Sultan, one-time Minister of Sports, one-time section president, one-time Central Committee member of the CPDM? What's the take on Ibrahim Bomonjoya?
It is a signal to some people who traditionally entrusted responsibilities, whether they had it from the elective point of view or from imposing a side of it or point of view. I think that it's a big signal that no man can live forever.
Of course.
And it is, when you look at the Bamun dynasty, it's one of those dynasties in Africa, if I want to call it in Africa, which is well respected. And as such, the demise, that's the loss of
the king,
the Sultan, it's not going to be easy to have a heir to the throne, because you have a lot of offsprings who are there looking forward to seeing the change inside the monarchy.
Okay. Yeah.
You see, because if we go into how it had all been for the time the late Sultan was there, it was not just a platter of gold. There had been a few wranglings left and right within the internal circle. As a level of the dynasty. And I think that it is this time it calls for reconciliation, of all the factions that are involved in choosing who should be the right heir, to come back to the drawing board and know exactly who should be the heir, and the heir as maybe Allah, as they have it, will want to put.
Okay, just Spence, your take on the demise of the Sultan of the Bamun?
Well, I will say that him having been the Sultan for 29 years, 29 years, and served in the government offices in several capacities, in several offices. I like one thing that Prince said, that no man will live forever.
For sure.
Definitely, there is a time to be born and there is a time to die. So whatever offices that you're occupying, do hold it or function in it as if tomorrow you don't, because you don't know what will happen. Just as going through his biography, going through all what he was able to acquire or achieve, it's rich. I can say it's rich, given that he started his career in the age of 22. At the age of 22, I beg your pardon. And seeing how far he has gone, I think he has fought a good fight, and we only pray that he should be accepted in heaven as, or what they call Allah. But nonetheless, he is still living a very big vacuum. We know very well he has so many children, and definitely we should be ready for war.
Let's wait for
of course.
Politically, Larry, that's what he's saying. You see, he did a job that, of course, those who were his admirers saw in him as a political, icon. In that particular level, especially at the level of the CPDM party. And in fact, I remember that during the national dialogue,
he was present.
He was present, and in fact, he contributed by saying that the crux of the matter of whatever is at stake should be looked into.
Should be addressed.
And of course, he recommended that if there was a possibility of going back to the drawing board to institute the federal structure, it would have been fun.
And he had it tough with all the same militants of the said party who were like saying, our head of our national chairman is pushing decentralization. You are telling us about federalism. So we're going to leave that one at that. So we move visiting that story subsequently. Let's move over to Lamido newspaper for this morning. Lamido newspaper for this morning talks about the CPDM subsection North. It says Celestin Kecha Cortez beats Nyats. What's your take on the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, who was a former mayor of the Mbangate municipality, whose section or whose fraction beats the other man of the Senate, or better still, Mayor
Mafo, the rain man, that's the queen mother of Bangante chiefdom or kingdom is someone I know personally, and I've had time to interact with her during my working career.
Very popular.
When it came up to certain levels. Now, when I say interaction, I mean during the working career, not the political career.
I can imagine.
And so she's very dynamic when it comes to grassroots penetration. I am very sure that this is a new breed. It falls among those who are coming up as the younger population, to take over, in the political circle. So it doesn't surprise me if she should, because the work she has done in Bangate, if you look at it from all analysis, from all angles,
it speaks volume,
and it speaks for itself. And I'm very, very convinced that given the opportunity, she's going to, go to greater heights. Already she's at the level of the ministerial portfolio, and I'm sure that traditionally too, she is very, very penetrating. What I want to say is that from the other angle, she should, if she comes up, be able to work, right, with the population as she has been doing, and be open up to what we call participatory commitment, and let there be consultation, so that the population will really feel the touch of what she has as ideas. And I think as mayor of Bangante, before she became minister, you remember that Larry, that she was really looked upon to be a developer.
Oh no, for sure.
She remains a very, very dynamic.
Without any publicity, without any publicity, the former mayor of Bangante, Celestine Kecha-Cortez, and the current Minister of Housing and Development is someone who is outstanding the way she does her thing. Because I remember, back then I was still in secondary school. When she was mayor. I remember in an interview with my senior colleague and brother Albert Jembonde on Hello, the flagship program in CRTV. She mentioned a lot of emphasis and achievement that she has able to achieve over the years. And I remember during her term as mayor of that municipality, Bangante was the most cleanest city in the entire country, and she maintained that position for quite a long duration of time.
But Larry, before maybe my co-panelists take off, what I want to say is that we need in this country today the young people interacting with the old, right?
Getting
the ideas of development. We need economic empowerment. We need cultural revival, and we need what we call, finally, social integration. And I think that it is very, very important. You cannot do this when you are a dictator.
Of course.
When you think that only your ideas can go ahead, you can do this and succeed when you interact with those who gave you the chance to be there. And I think it's time for people to be put on merit by being elected, by being unanimously accepted to do what they can do.
Okay. Just Spence, your take on Minister Celestine Kecha-Cortez.
First, I will start looking at her educational background.
Well educated.
Well educated.
She speaks English and French.
And what she studied in school is what she's actually showcasing. This shows that when you're being given a position where you have the educational knowledge in it, you excel. But when you are being put in a position where you have little or no knowledge about it, of course you're just going there to get your own share of the national cake. So going back, I don't want to dwell on what my co-panelists have already highlighted, but I will say that just as you rightly pointed out, that without no publicity, her works was still she's a woman of valor. She's a woman that almost on daily basis, every news stations you hear Celestine Kuche. So I think that this should ring a bell in the minds of the other ministers who are still sleeping, who are still lacking behind, that you should not wait. You should not wait when you have something. That's where you want to do your work. Do your work, and your work will speak for you. Don't just wait when you have a grand something. That is when you want to show. Do your work the way you know it best, and it is going to go far to speak for you.
Okay, we're going to be wrapping up the program with this last newspaper on a newsstand. That's the Herald Tribune, a publication from Bamenda. The Herald Tribune for this morning says Black Monday, Sultan of Foumban, Kumba, former city mayor and government delegate to the Kumba City Council, and the Lamido of Sabga all dies on quit the stage. So that is what you can have as banner headline on that same paper. Quickly, I want you to give your emphasis on those three personalities: Victor Kolengo of the Kumba City Council, and let's focus on Victor Kolengo. Someone that you have worked with over the years.
I have not had time to work with Victor Kolengo.
Okay, sorry, someone you have known over the years.
Yeah, I had time to think about Nakombele Kevin, who was a former government delegate and is still alive. I had time to think about those very good days of CNU, the Cameroun National Union, where so young I used to be as part of that particular political lineage or circle. And in those days, I think what happened? The only thing is we need to go back to look into what legacy has Kele was he leaving behind, and was he really going to leave for the Kumba population to really admire him. We don't know whether if we go into Kumba, we go to Kumba, we'll be able to get street lights. We'll be able to get quarters like Kusala, like Fiango. We'll be able to get quarters like Krama and the rest paved.
Newtown.
That I see it's on the contrary, which means what we want to say that in it is that we sometimes I will say share to his family. This is true for his demise, but I will always want to admire Nokombele Kevin, because if you look at the amusement park, and even the present council building it was built by memorable of Nokombele Kevin, and some other things which were in the past, water and the rest, and all the other things. When you enter into politics, always expect, Larry, that you need to give, when you go, what will people remember you? What will people know?
Your legacy.
Your legacy. What will people want to know, and what would they think about you? So I think he has played his own game, and that is politics and journey. And let me just scratch my back.
Scratch your back.
According to what late part
out of the scene, Larry, we just say Ashia to the family. And it is time for the Kumba population to know who should be there and who should be rightly put. I mean, at the level of the party CPDM and those who are part of that party, let them know who should be to go ahead, whatever has to be. And at the level of the Kumba population as a whole, it is all by merit. Should they have people put to whatever task.
All right. Okay, let's wrap up with the what's your take on the demise of the first city mayor to the Kumba City Council and the government delegates to that set Kumba City Council of the Southwest Region, Victor Kolengo?
Firstly, I will say that he has done well through his win while he was still in power, because he's of late now. So I just wish to say that when you have the power, when you have the tenure, you should be able to do something concrete that after you, people will see and remember you. Do something that when you are no more, people will regret. People will cry for your loss. Because if the Kumba population is crying today, I think it's all thanks to his effort while he was in power. But if hadn't been he did little or nothing to bring that, to leave a legacy behind, then there won't be any need for the population to actually miss him. So I'll just say, just like Pa said, that we extend our condolences to the family and that they should take heart. But when you leave, there must be somebody to fill in your position. All of us are passerbys. Whoever that is going to fit into his shoes.
He was ousted for the city mayor election. So let's not go into that polemics. So I just want to wrap up with this allusion regarding that. So whatever thing we find ourselves doing, let's do it with the utmost pleasure and gratitude. So thank you very much for coming to the program.
Thank you very much, Larry, and to our viewers out there, that we are always out to sensitize you guys. We're always out to give you the truth and
nothing else but the truth.
Nothing else but the truth.
Pa, back to you. The last word.
I'm always available. I think that Haiti is impacting the population.
All right.
And from all perspectives, from all angles, it is all you out there who has the say about ITV. And I'm very convinced that it is, of course, a station for all of you.
All right. So without wise word from our veteran journalist Prince Orok in the building and our own colleague just Prince Katie of Revival Gospel Radio, I say you and to you all out there, I say a big thank you to you for tuning in for the program. A quick reminder: this program, a rebroadcast will be yours as from 12:30 p.m. Cameroun time or GMT +1, and a rebroadcast will still be yours as from 10:30. A quick reminder: the program comes up weekdays as from 9:30 a.m. Meanwhile, Mondays we have the exception that we come up on air as from 12:30. With that, I say thank you for watching the same station. Oga Business will be coming up with a wonderful package when it comes to economic in the country. Goodbye and God bless you. Bye bye.